and heroes. Gonna tell you about pros and heroes. Gonna tell you about
comic books, costumes, facts, boots, and other stuff.
In this week's issue, The Human Target, Part 1.
Welcome into another episode of Bros, Foes, and Heroes. I'm Zach, joined as always by the man who can solve any mystery himself.
Boy, that is
the
not true at all.
The always great detective, Mr. Mike.
I have never solved a mystery in my life.
That doesn't bode well for today's issue then. What we're getting into, well, I guess I'll before we
I feel like at some point I'm going to try to take a drink out of my microphone and
yeah. I do love that Aquaman is holding your mic for you.
Yeah. Look at him go.
Yeah. So there you go.
The only thing an Aquaman is good for.
The only thing?
The only thing, yeah.
Out of everything we've covered Aquaman-wise, there hasn't been one story where you're like, you know what? He wasn't half bad there.
It's in a bathtub full of milk in the desert, Zach.
It was a trough, but yeah, no, I get it.
Whatever. Same thing.
Hopefully everybody had a great Thanksgiving.
Yeah, it was good.
It's the Christmas time now. We are fully in December.
My wife put the tree up the day before Thanksgiving, so yeah.
Hey, I had every intent to put up all the Christmas stuff the weekend after. Like we were always a weekend after type family. But I couldn't getting anything out, and we're gonna have to kid proof it all this year.
Yeah.
So
I guess so, huh?
Yeah, no ornaments on the lower half of the tree, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, we had a big deal at our house where the little kids kept getting in trouble because they would take the ornaments off and run into the other room with them.
Yeah. Were they hiding them? Or?
God damn it, bring us one!
That kind of stuff. Was that you?
I didn't care.
Okay.
I don't. I figure if you break some ornaments, we just got fewer ornaments to keep up with. That's great.
That's true. But I am planning on,
Did you ever collect? Did you ever collect those ornaments like the Hallmark ones?
No, I know which ones you're talking about. No, my mother had a
load of those.
That makes. I don't know. That makes sense. I don't mean that in any way. My mother loved for their ornaments with our faces on them at different stages. So there was a lot of picture ornaments. Or things we made in school. That made up the majority of our Christmas tree. Yeah. And so what it is now is it's some of those ornaments that I have that my mom gave me from when I was a kid, and just some randomness.
It's always that Rudolph made out of popsicle sticks.
I have a really cool Superman ornament that I got 5-6 years ago. My mom gave it to me, I think, for Christmas one year, just because she knows I'm very nerdy. But it has the Christopher Reeves little.
Is that what you were gonna say?
No, what? Oh. No, the swoop, the hair swoop.
Oh, okay, I got you.
Wow,
it's got a little swastika right in the forehead.
No,
it's great.
No,
wonderful.
Anyway,
Elon gave it to me. It's the best.
Anyway,
I do have the one.
I'm staying as far away from that.
I do have the Hallmark one where it's a phone booth. And you push the button and he turns into Superman, and then he turns back around to Clark Kent.
Okay, that's actually really cool.
It lights up. It's kind of cool.
That is really cool. Yeah. All that to say, expect some Christmas stuff coming up here on the show. I already have some episodes or some issues set aside, but the one thing I wanted to do is close out the things that we were thankful for, because I talked about it, and for sure, you know me, if I talk about something, I really want to do it. So
it's true.
We are going to cover Human Target.
One thing today. I say about Zach, it's that.
He probably says more. Yep, exactly. There's probably more to it. But my favorite, one of the authors that I'm obviously thankful for of everything that I get to read of his, is Tom King. And we had covered a couple different Tom King stories on here.
Tom King.
I do. We covered Mr. Miracle, which is my all-time favorite, Tom King. We covered Supergirl.
Developed.
Yeah, which is into animation, which I saw the other day. They're still working on it. So I'm so freaking excited about that.
Yeah.
We covered Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow, which is also about to be a movie.
That's him?
In June. Yeah.
He wrote that? Oh, wow.
Yeah, him and remember, well, I know that you really love Billiquist Evely's art in that.
Oh, I love Billiquist Evely's art. I really do. It was very good.
Well, the two of them,
I reached out to her and she never answered me.
Yeah. Well, she's busy. Well, the two of them also work together on Helena Winthorne, which is another. I think, man, I'm butchering that. I'm pretty sure it's Helena Winthorne. Winthorn.
Let me check here and make sure she hadn't gotten back to me. Nope, still hadn't gotten back to me.
Helen of Windhorn. There we go. Wyndhorn. But it's the same. That? It's the same creative team. It is after her father's death, Helen Cole returns to Windhorn House, where he discovers that her father's legendary stories about adventures in the woods were real. But it is the same team. It's Tom King and Billiquis Evely again. So the same team that did Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow. Anyway, I'm a massive Tom King fan, and I went through what we could cover. And for the longest, I thought what we were going to do to close out the November was I was going to start us on Strange Adventure, which we've talked about it some on the show.
Yeah.
It's an Adam Strange story, and it's the first, like, Mr. Terrific's a part of it. A lot of people kind of take issue sometimes with the way that Tom King writes certain characters. They think that it's a little out of character for those characters. And that was one of the biggest complaints with Adam Strange, but it is a good story from start to finish.
Adam Strange, does that seem like a wasted character to you? Because like isn't that the one that was DC? The gold face? Is that DC?
Yeah, no, Adam Strange is DC.
Oh, okay.
You're thinking Adam Warlock.
Yeah, that's who I'm thinking of. Yes, yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. But so I thought about doing that, and then I was like, no, we got to cover all 12 issues, and that would be one of those where it's like, for 2 weeks, it's what we do. Yeah. I figured because they naturally split this. I love his Human Target series with Greg Smallwood. The art is amazing throughout it. Like Greg Smallwood's art in this is just top notch. And then I really love the story too. So when they've printed it. They're actually about to release a deluxe edition, which I think is all of it together. And the cover of it looks so nice and like pulpy. I'll have to see if I can find it before the end of the show. And matches the tone of the story. But
it looks like Archer. It reminds me of Archer.
It makes you think the art won't once we get into it.
Well, I'm talking covers.
The look does. Yeah. But they broke it up in volume 1 and volume 2. So what we're going to do this week is just cover volume 1. So that's issue 1 through 3 today, issue Wonderful. 4, 5, and 6 for our other episode this week. After we get to issue 6, and you're like,
all bets are off.
Well, no. And you're like, okay, I want to see where this goes. Then I'll finish it.
Okay.
I mean, some you can look forward to the second part, the volume 2 in December then. But let's go ahead and get us started with issue 1.
Let's do it.
The Human Target by Tom King and Greg Smallwood. I think Clayton Cowles also did the lettering on this.
It looks like Timothy Oliphant.
Let me double check that. Yeah, it is Clayton Cowles. Oh, you're talking about the Christopher Chance? So just to let you know, yes, that is our main character there. That is Christopher Chance. He is the Human Target. Are you familiar at all with the Human Target at all?
I am not. I am not familiar with the Human Target at all.
So they're gonna explain some of it too. It's been a comic series. It's been a TV series. It's been a bunch of different things. But it is essentially, yeah, I know in the 90s it was. But it might have even been before that too. But he is essentially a guy, and he explains it himself, that you pay him to take your place to see who wants to kill you. He is like the actual human target.
Yeah, that makes sense. All right.
So before we get in there was an ad back when this ran. I think 2021 is when the series came out. So about 4 to 5 years ago. There's an ad for Dark Knights of Steel, which is like Batman and Superman, all that in medieval times. We are probably going to read that at some point. Also, there's a story we covered on a very, very, very early of Bros, Foes, and Heroes before Mike even joined the show, of where Iron Man and Dr. Doom went back in time to see King Arthur. And I can't believe that I've never covered that on here. But anyway, that made me
Is this God Emperor Doom?
No, this was like 80. This is before all that. This is like 70s, 80s Doom. It's some weird, like 2-issue time travel story. But we start our story with him coughing, and you can tell he's staying in this hotel, downing the last of his alcohol, fixing his tie, looking nice. But he talks about how, like, The suit looks all right. It fits all right. Anyway, it's still got a hint of her perfume on it, and that's enough. He's getting ready for something. We don't know what. And he walks over to the bed and he sits down and he has another coughing fit. And he's like, I get the last of it out. There's only so many fights you can win. I've taken some air. There she is. Like, he's obviously talking about a woman again to get this scent. And he goes, I open the drawer and he pulls out a piece of paper and he writes a note. And he goes, I was never good with words. She'll probably know that by now. I put the pen back. I close the drawer and I lie on the bed. I listen. I really do. I swear to God, but I don't hear anything. There's only so many fights you can win. I breathe, then I don't. I die.
Wow.
And we see that he just wrote, I love you too on the note. And we get like a rewind, day 12, day 11, day 10, 9, 8, 7. And it's like going back in time to get us back to now where we are at day 1 of where we see this woman talking to Lex Luthor. And she's just like, is everything okay, Mr. Luthor? Like, whatever you want, I've got you. Like, here's your coffee. And he's just like, Luthor, thank you. And then she's like, well, really, it's just such an honor. And, just to meet you, like, yeah, it's very much appreciated that you would talk to me like this. I'm so sorry, Mr. Luthor. I'm talking way too much. And Luthor just looks at her and goes, well, then stop. Like, just
what time is this for Luthor?
This is right now. It's supposed to be current day.
Okay.
But we also get some text underneath there where it's like, it's early and the coffee's old, tastes like tin. But last night went late enough that 10 will do. Who schedules a press conference at 6 a.m.? Somebody downright evil. That's who. Because it's not Lex Luthor. It's Christopher Chance as Lex Luthor, we find out. And he goes out to give this speech. It reminded me very much of like a Apple press conference announcing the new iPhone or something like that. Ladies and gentlemen, he's like, oh, and I'm here we got a packed schedule today. I'm trying to remember what he's promoting. The cameras are using Lex Tech to project this beyond the world. Like, people are watching this out in space across the multiverse.
Are they?
And he's like, now, before we begin, and all of a sudden there's a bang. And somebody screams out from the crowd, like, oh, they shot Lex Luthor. They shot Lex Luthor. We see this guy get up on stage as everybody from the crowd just kind of search our films and is just watching what's going on as the would-be killer is making his speech of like, the beast is dead. We have slain him. For decades of this, he's wallowed in like Superman. Like, he even has a line in there about Superman that's great. It's like, he knows how evil he is, but he can't stop him. So I've done it for us. I finally rid the world of Lex Luthor. Like, he's taking this big speech, like making this big moment of it. And the whole while you just see like, I threw up when the bullet hit me. That rotten coffee coming back up just to kick me back down. I swallow what's left in my mouth and it chokes me. I start to cough it up, but I have to hold it. Another day, no good deed and all that. And as the guy's making his speech, he just comes up and kind of socks him, gives him a nice little left cross, I guess, and knocks the guy out. Then we're back to him talking to Lex Luthor. And he's like, it was a setup. The security guard let the guy in who's now doing life. And I looked into it. He's got a brother with a sick kid. And the kid just got approved of some new expensive treatment thanks to Lex Insure. And Lex is like, oh, is it a crime to help children out now? Like, essentially, he's, plugging up, like punishing the leaks and then just trying to feel better, I guess, by taking care of other things.
Yeah.
And he tells him, like, I'm not the police. I'm just the sucker you hired to stand there and take it. And they're kind of talking back and forth and trying to figure out who would do all this. And as they're talking, I think Luthor compares them to like the costumed heroes. And Christopher tells him, like, that's not me. Like, I have a job that I just do. He also talks about in there while he's getting ready before, and I like the line that he used to would not take jobs like this. Like, he was like, this cat or this bald cat itches. He's like, back in the day, I would have just completely shaved my head, like gone to the bit, done all that. He goes, but that was back in the day. And like back then, I also wouldn't be taking jobs from, shady characters like this.
Sure.
So Luthor tells him, like, this is all better to illustrate the community at large. Oh, he's talking about, I'm sorry. He goes, you ever taken a bullet to the chest? first thing it does is it hurts, is what he like tells him, because
no
Luther's
kidding.
like, nobody gets, he's like, at the end of the day, nobody gets hurt. He tells him it does hurt. And then Luther just tells him, better you than me. And to which he's like, oh, I should get that printed on the card. And Luther, like, they're just having this conversation. He tells like, I've been meaning to ask you out of curiosity based on an observation, like the armor you wear, it doesn't protect everything. What if he had shot you in the head? And he's like, my brains were never my best asset after. And he starts having this coughing fit, and he like blacks out from the coughing, from the coughing, and he wakes up on Luther's floor, helps him out. And the next thing he remembers is he's in his car and he's speeding to get home again, and he doesn't feel good again, and he's sweating, and he like passes out again, and this time crashes into a tree. While he's there, Dr. Midnight, one of the members of the Justice League, a superhero there, Dr. Midnight, he was part of the Justice Society at one point in time. This is an old pull. He tells him like, or the Justice League had called to pick him up, and like he was looking him over, and he tells him like, I got poison in me and you can't get it out, and it's going to kill me is what you're telling me. Like if I take these pills, it'll make it last a little bit better, make me feel a little bit better but not hurt as much. And Midnight tells him, 12 days. And he goes, okay, so I got 12 days then. And he essentially tells Christopher, he's like, well, you got any family, loved ones? And he doesn't answer him. He goes, can you tell when you look at the poison, like tell me what you figure out. That's all I want to know. If I'm going to die, I kind of just want to figure out who it was that poisoned me then. Sure. What he's able to determine is, I think he calls him later. Yeah. So,
when did this come out?
2021.
Okay. All right.
Like Midnight's like, I'm sorry about all this, you dying. It's because he goes, I don't have any family, nobody to miss me. And Dr. Midnight's like, I would be glad if you care to come to church with me. And he just kind of like leaves him. He's like, see you around, Doc. I don't, thanks for the pills. Like he's very much just wants to be alone and figuring this out.
Sure.
He goes back to Lex Luthor, and Luthor tells him, I didn't poison you. Like, why would I do that? And he's like, well, reason I wasn't dead 5 minutes after I drank that coffee this morning or yesterday morning was because I vomited when the bullet hit me, and I threw up most of it. But there's enough there that it's still going to, end up killing me here in 12 days. And he goes, can't see why you'd want me dead on that stage, though. That doesn't make sense to me, really. So I don't think it was. Like, you're smart enough to see that coming. And he goes, no, someone tried to kill you and got me instead. It's as simple as that, unfortunately. The question is, who wants to kill you? And Lex Luthor's like, well, everybody. And he goes, yeah, well, that helps.
That's the truth, huh?
Yeah, he goes, well, that helps. Just write down all their numbers and addresses and I'll get started. And Luthor tells him, like, listen, and please be assured, if this was a strike against me, I will deploy resources, the likes of which, nobody can conceive, to take care of this. You may take comfort that your unfortunate passing, though unearned, will certainly be painfully revenged. And he tells him, yeah, you're welcome to do what you want, but that's not what I came here looking for. Like, just give me the names and addresses.
Yeah.
And he goes back. So he goes, then why did you come here? And he tells him, I was just wondering what happened to my car. Like, where's it at? We go back to the hotel that he's staying at, and the phone rings, and it's Dr. Midnight who tells him that he decided to do a little deeper forensics work, and that he wouldn't normally, but he wanted to do what he could do for him since he only had 12 days.
Right.
And it wasn't much, but it was interesting to him, to Dr. Midnight, that there was actually some minute radiation attached to the poison. It looked familiar, and I did a deep dive on it, and I did find a match, but it's odd. And Chris is just like, what's odd, Doc? Like, I don't have, just keep going with this.
I got 12 days. Yeah.
Yeah. He goes, well, I had discovered it during routine exams. It's quite harmless, and it does stick to people like dust. They got it on a mission to Ringbrack Dimension, and they all have it on them. And I'm fairly sure they're the only ones who have gone to the Ringbrack and returned. So it's on the poison too. It comes from them. And that's where he's like, them? And this is a full double spread in the issue, so it works better, but we'll have the 2 pages here. The Justice League International.
Oh, wow.
So we have Mr. Miracle, Fire and Ice, Guy Gardner's there, Martian Manhunter, Batman, Atom, Blue Beetle, Booster Gold. I think that's Black Canary back there, but it's all of JLI, which we've covered some before when we've covered Guy Gardner. So some of these a lot of these characters. He goes, I hang up the phone.
Wasn't there a tie to Justice League International in your favorite comic, the other Tom King, the Mr. Miracle?
In Mr. Miracle?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, Mr. Miracle is there. He's a member of Justice League International.
Okay. But wasn't there a tie in the Mr. Miracle run that we did?
Well, I mean, like he hangs out with Booster Gold and Blue Beetle because they're his friends. They'll be from JLI. Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like I remember something like that.
Yeah. So it's like I undress, I lie down, I turn off the lights, I wait for night's end. So we will pick up then with issue 2 of our story, where we will meet another main character of this. Oh, there's a Nightwing ad if you want to.
Look at him go.
Yep. So Chris wakes up and he heads to his office, which is above Luigi's, which is the restaurant downstairs.
Is this the exact same team that did Mr. Miracle?
No. Tom King wrote it. Mitch Gerards did the
but I'm
art.
saying like the art on this is very reminiscent of it.
It is kind of, but this is Greg Smallwood. And
I love very, very
Greg
well
Smallwood. There's like a classic, almost like I don't know, like it fits the noir theme of this that we're going to get into.
It feels very retro futuristic.
Yes.
If that makes sense.
No, I get that. So Chris is stopping by to see Luigi before heading up to the office. Luigi has a restaurant on the bottom floor. Chris's office is on the top.
Oh, Luigi.
And he tells him like, hey, there's a slice. It's for you. And he's like, a slice for breakfast? And he's like, hey, it's whatever you want it to be, man. Like, it doesn't have to be breakfast. Yeah. And that's where he tells him like, by the way, I told her that she could come in, or that you came in late and you might be a while, but she's up waiting in your office. And he's like, who? You just let her up there? Like she was just looking for you to let her up. And he goes, you know how it is, Christopher. There's some woman you can say no to, and then there's some you can't. And so he goes up to where we meet. You remember Ice?
I do remember Ice. Yeah.
Ice, unfortunately, the last time we talked about her, she looks stunning in this. Greg Smallwood, I love the way she looks in this. And I love her character too. But Ice, the last time we caught up with her, she was in a weird on again, off again thing with Guy Gardner, where he took her on a date to a porn theater.
Yeah, I do remember that. Yeah.
Like one against amongst of other just weird things that he did.
Yeah, he just proved what an ass he is. That's all it was.
Which is why, at least on this series, when people are like, oh, Guy Gardner doesn't act like Guy Gardner, I was like, he acts like Justice League International Guy Gardner to me. But anyway, so
from everything you've told me, that's exactly what we got.
I think so. So, but she's there introducing to herself, like, I really hope that you can help me. And he's like, a pleasure, but in my experience, someone who can talk their way past a Ouija doesn't really need my help with anything. And they have this cute little like flirt moment where he's got something on his cheek and she takes and like dabbles it off himself. He knows early on that she is trouble for him. Like,
sure.
Like on a romantic like level, he knows that there's something to her, but obviously there's something case-wise too. So I love how very like noir this all is, or like those old like, detective mysteries. Yeah. She's like, I'm sorry for coming up here. Like I would have just waited in the restaurant, but when I wait a place for a while, it tends to get colder there just by me being around. And I didn't want to, it didn't seem fair to the customers. And that's where he's like, I didn't see any customers. And she's like, well, you never know. They might've shown up. He has a coughing fit, to which we'll see a lot. That's why he uses the booze to kind of like calm the coughing down. But the cough is fully from the poison. And so when it acts up, it causes him to do that.
Right.
So she says that she had talked to Dr. Midnight. Like, I heard from Doc that you had been through an ordeal. He told me that someone tried to kill Luthor and that someone from my Justice League, but that they got you instead. And he's thinking while they're talking about it, he's like, it's actually kind of a little cold in here right now. Would you like to go somewhere for a drive? Maybe find someplace warm? to kind of get out of there. And she recommends going to the beach. Like he says, I lied, told her I had all the time in the world. She recommended a beach a couple hours away. So like they drive there to it. While they're driving, she re-gives her story, her backstory.
A couple hour drive is a big deal for a guy who's got 12 days.
Yeah, but I looked at this too, and I thought of this like, as I take a drink before doing that. Anywhere we drive in Texas, it's going to take a couple hours. So
Sure.
I assume if they're like in the middle of California and she's just like, I'd love to go to the beach. Like it's not unheard of. Just be like, all right, an hour and a half,
that's
you
true.
know.
Yeah,
So,
that's true.
but he talks about like, they talk about everything but the poison during the trip. Like, she talks about her life a bit, the story of how, where is it? Oh, she was born Torah off. I always get her last name hard. Torah Alfspotter, a princess of some
God bless you.
lost Nordic magical tribe growing up with polar bears. Eventually, the tribe got discovered by an intrepid explorer, as can happen. And after that great opening, like Torah's dad sent her off to be like an emissary or a diplomat to the rest of the world. She joined a superhero team, helped fight, yada, yada, yada.
Okay.
But that's not really how it happened. What she says turns out she was actually born to a small, impoverished community in rural Norway. And that as she got a little older, she developed these metahuman abilities, the power over ice, kind of just by accident. Her family hid this from her grandfather, who thought that she would be labeled as like a freak or something wrong with her and be sent out. Well, the hiding didn't really do any good. Her grandfather found out and confronted her father about it. And her dad stood up for himself and like his daughter, but it got rough and she intervened and lost control of her powers and ended up killing both of them in the process. And so she ran away. And then the whole discovered diplomat thing was a story that she just kept telling herself over and over enough to where eventually you kind of believe it. The line goes, and the little murderer became the sweet princess, and everyone lived happily ever after. But he's just trying to say that, that it wasn't as, I guess, her backstory is fun and magical as everybody thought.
Yeah, sure.
They get there to the beach.
But I mean, you're not going to tell a sob story every time. You know what I mean? Like
exactly. He goes, there's sand and waves and sun. What more do you need? And she goes, oh, I don't know. I can think of a few things, and kind of gives him a wink. Like she is constantly flirting with him. Yeah. As they walk, then he asks her more, or she tells stories about like the team, the rest of the Justice League they were on, of like, and he's like, but it seems different. Like, I know about all these other like costume teams, but like they seem to actually like get along. They're kind of like a family. Like it's this really big cohesive unit that, the world was at risk and they did everything to stop it. But they weren't like the same average team where they fought one threat and was on to the next. Like they could have fun and some shenanigans in between. And it's just referencing the style that it was in the 80s of how, like, there is a JLS story where I'm pretty sure Booster Gold and Blue Beetle attempt to like have a whole resort island, or like, some like there's comical stuff that happens. But I think they kind of just lead into the fact that, this is a really close, just, tight knit group.
Sure.
There's nothing much. She's asking for him to share stuff. They have a moment with skipping rocks. Like he shares that he used to be really good at like skipping rocks, but you need some smooth rocks to that, because he grew up. She wanted to know more about him. He told her that he grew up on the other coast where they have smooth rocks and you can skip stones. And she's like, well, hold on. So she makes one for him and he uses it, and it's a nice little moment of him like, skipping a rock, and then poison coughing fit attack. So that just ruins everything. As he goes to take a drink, she's like, do I need to worry about you? And he's like, no, like it'll pass. Everything's okay. He's not telling her, obviously, that it's going to kill him in 12 days. He's just keeping her at like a need to know thing.
Well, he's also trying to find out.
Yeah. So finally, while they're there, it comes up, and he brings up like with the brashness. She doesn't like try to tiptoe around it. She just brings it up. She goes, you're not going to ask me about Doc and why I'm here? And he's like, I think you already told me. And she goes, did I? And he goes, well, all this talk about everything except one thing you're known for. I mean, what's ice without fire? Do you remember Fire, the other? Yeah,
Yeah.
she's green, but they're kind of, thick as
Yeah.
thieves.
Yeah.
And he tells her, and I love, it's very much like here's what I think happened. And he tells her, he's like, I guess what happened, and you tell me just where I go wrong in all this. Doc doesn't trust me. No, not at all. So he doesn't want to let someone that he doesn't know kind of snoop around and question all the Justice League. He figures, well, I figure there's at least someone on the JLI who couldn't have done it. The sweetest, kindest member, right? So he calls you. There was an attempted poisoning. This human target is looking into it. He just wants to get your advice. Should he talk to other members? Should he keep it to himself? Is it even possible someone did this? You have to tell him, no, it's fine, that you've got it, that it has to be a mistake, but that you'll come, or you calm him down, and that you'll come and talk to me. Like he hangs up and you hang up. And you don't tell him you know someone maybe I don't know, someone who might have a little motive for who wanted Lex dead, someone who blazes just hot enough to do something this bad, is what he tells her. And he goes, so you decide to go downtown to make friends with Christopher Chase or Christopher Chance. And then it's just like he notices the temperature drops 40 degrees and he starts shivering. And she just kind of looks out at the water and goes, I'm tired of seeing the water and not going into it. Let's go swimming. She just kind of gets up and goes to go off and find a swimsuit. Doesn't necessarily answer his questions.
Yeah.
And he's like, she goes, join me. And he's like, water? Oh, hell. So they do. She puts on a sexy little number because she's trying to do what sexy ice lady would do.
Yeah. Sexy ice lady. Sure.
Yeah. To which he obviously approves, very much so. And she finds something for him to change into, and they go out swimming. While they're out there swimming, she's like, you're pretty far out. Like, I can make an island if you get tired. I know, you're coughing and everything. And he's like, no, I'm fine. I could go all night. And she just tells him, yeah, don't doubt it. And she goes back to float. And he brings it back up again. Miss Offspotter, what did Lex do to Fire that would make her want to kill him? And she goes, I think you can call me Tora, Mr. Chance. And he didn't really do much. He just killed me. So she begins to tell the story. And this is where our main story takes place. Is a few years back, it is from another comic story, but this guy named Overmaster came to Earth. I'm going to give you the brief synopsis of this.
Yeah.
Overmaster came to Earth, was trying to wipe out, decided that Earth wasn't worthy decided to wipe it out. In the process, he took over Ice and was using Ice as his minion in a way to go out and do things for him, to battle the other members of the Justice League and things like that. But she felt like she had to do something, mostly because I didn't survive long enough to see if it worked. She did one last effort to try to attack him, and it ended up killing her in all this process.
Okay.
And so she's asked about the island again, and he's like, I noticed that you're not as dead as you used to be, though. Obviously you're still here then. You're not dead.
Fair.
And she goes, twist, I came back. There's all sorts of magic in the world. Even I didn't grow up with it. And he's like, all right, nice story. I like the ending, but I don't see Lex and Fire in it. And she goes, oh, I'm glad you like the ending, but I'm not sure if it's over. And this is where she brings up that a couple weeks ago, she got a visit from Guy Gardner, who did some snooping around up in Oa, up with all the Guardians up there to try to figure out, because this whole Overmaster thing never set right with him. Well, what he found out was that Luthor made a plan, a deal with Overmaster. For Overmaster, he would help set up Overmaster to come in and help take over Earth if Overmaster helped him kill Superman. There was a deal made there. And she goes, and Guy can't keep his mouth shut. He'll tell everybody, but also I had to tell Fire what Guy told me. And she went off about how she was going to, she says a lot of stuff. She's just very hot-headed. She didn't mean any of it. But that day,
Fire. Yeah.
He goes, but that day she said she wanted to kill Lex. But I know she didn't. I know she wouldn't. She's angry, but she's not a killer. If you know her, and I know her. And he's like, all right, well, when I heard what happened with you and Lex, I just thought, well, I decided I'd try to help you find out who did it. That's all. I wanted to make sure whatever you were looking at the right things. Fire didn't do it. I know, and I'll help you find out who did if you trust me. And she goes, do you trust me? And he goes, I should have let her build that island, safe but cold. And he has another coughing attack while he's out there. And she reaches over and kisses him, but she like shoots, I don't know what, but like her like ice breath down to kind of ease the pain and the pain that he's feeling from the cough, like the burning, the sensation, all that. She essentially alleviates it. And then she's like,
menthol.
She is menthol, but she's like, except not as minty.
Sure.
I love the line at the end. Yesterday I was dead. Today I'm in trouble. Because he's falling for ice already right now.
Yeah. No, it's a good line. Yeah.
It is. So they get out and he takes her back to her house. And she says, I'd like to say, or I say I'd like her help. And I'll call her in the morning. And I know it's the wrong move. But like Luigi said, there are some women you can say no to and some you can't. At least I don't tell her about Doc. Give me that. I didn't tell her it was just me on the phone doing Doc's voice like I do. Or that Guy had already and stupidly confronted Lex about Overmaster blaming Lex for Ice's death. Information Lex was only too happy to share with me yesterday. I knew she'd make some excuse. I knew she'd come. And I'd get the chance to see up close the woman who might have killed me. And I can still smell her perfume on my suit. And that's where it closes out issue 2. And that takes us to issue 3, our final issue of today's episode of Human Target Part 1. You enjoying yourself so far, Mike?
I am. Yeah. This is a different one for me because I don't have a lot of smart ass things to say just because I'm enjoying the story.
It is. It's a really good story, but we're about to laugh here because your favorite, my favorite, everybody's favorite, Booster Gold is a part of this issue.
Okay. Fantastic.
So
what was that?
It was for that. Oh, Batman the Night. That was a Chip Zdarsky. So let's see. Here's what you want to know. It's a 10-issue series that essentially happens before Bruce Wayne became Batman. He wrote of him traveling around, learning things from different people, being taught like how he became Batman. Why'd you get so?
I don't know. I feel like I'm going Saiyan or something. I don't know what's happening here. I got super bright.
You did. So he wakes up from sleeping. Well,
seeing if I could fix it, but I can't.
Yeah, he's like, I don't remember dreams, but when I wake before I even open my eyes, I'm thinking of her. She's moving toward me, whispering something I can't hear. Everything in me is dry and burning, and her lips are, no, that's not it. It's while she's on you, all the screams you keep hidden inside, they're finally quiet. No, that's not right either. I'm a fool. It's like nothing else. Hell, only thing that comes close is death. Like he's got it bad for her already.
Yeah, no kidding.
But you see him like waking up on day 3. Hey, Chance, get up. And we see Guy Gardner sitting at the edge of the bed. I do also love how the credits for each issue are like a part of the scene because it looks like the sun from, outside.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of Baby Driver.
Yes, very much so.
Yeah.
And it's Guy Gardner. I heard you're hanging around with my girl. What's your problem, man?
Yeah, man.
And Chris is essentially like, she's not your girl, Guy, and this isn't your room. Now get out. In a typical Guy Gardner fashion, he just looks and he goes, hey, Ring, what sector is this room located in? And the Ring goes, the room is located in space sector 2814.
Yeah.
And what space sector do I get to be in charge of? And the Ring goes, you are a Green Lantern of space sector 2814. And that's just like, what do you know? I guess it is my room after all. It's like, it just Guy Gardner being Guy Gardner. He is.
Yeah, no kidding.
And I love it. So Chris essentially thinks, like, I can do this 2 ways. I decided to do it the fast way. And so he sits there. He goes, I did a job for a cop once. Took a bullet from a dirty colleague for him after I remember telling him if the police are out for him. After I remember him telling me if the police aren't working for you, they're not working at all. And he decides to shoot right at Guy Gardner for that. And he's like, I chose the fast one. I know the Ring will protect him. That bullet's harmless. But that's where he's like, oh, you shouldn't have done that. And he turns around and he uses his hand to like smack the ring to smack the gun out of Chris's hand. And he's like, Guy, and he's like, this isn't going to end well for you. Who the F are you? And like, Guy's getting angry with him. He's like, I don't remember seeing you at her funeral. I don't remember you crying at her grave, every day she was gone. Because I was there every effing day. And I got lonely after a while. And I could have used some company. And he's like, look, it's complicated. She makes her own choices, though. So that's the way it is. Walk away before you get hurt. And Guy's just like, you think you're a smarty. You know just all about smarty. Let me tell you, you got no effing clue who the F, or who that. He does say 3 words. I don't know what he's calling her, but he's calling her something. And it says, I planned the bullet. I throw the punch with no plan at all. And Guy blocks it. And he's like, see, not only did you shoot at I'm a genuine superhero. Not only did you shoot at a genuine superhero, you also punched as genuine superhero. You disrespected me. And you know what they do when you disrespect a genuine superhero like that? They beat the shit out of you. And he begins to just start punching him. And I love, if you see in the top like corner of each panel, it's his inner monologue of like, as soon as he throws that punch, thinking like he messed up. And it's just as it's going over and over again of him just saying, cursing what he's done. It's kind of funny.
Yeah, that's good.
He's like, this isn't your fight. You're not one of us. Go back to dying, is what he tells him. And it kind of fades to black. And as it like comes back through, he tells the story about him as a kid with his dad. But for our story here, and again, I try not to give away everything. So when you read it, you can enjoy it, because you should absolutely pick this up and read it. It's fantastic. But as she comes through, she's just like, Chris, can you hear me? She goes, I think we should call an ambulance. Christopher, what happened? Are you okay? Can I help? And he's like, yeah. Could you get me a drink? Is all he asked for. As he comes back to. And they wake up and they're all there, and Ice feels bad for this. Luigi's pissed because he's like, somebody should give me one of those fancy rings. Like, I'll give him a one too. And Ice goes, I got it, but like, you know him. It'll be a whole thing with Guy here. Because she said, or she goes, I'll see what I can do. Did you get the meeting? And that's where she was like, yeah, but it'll be a whole thing. You don't have to go. You can rest here. And he's like, no, I want to get out of this place. Plus, the bottle's empty. So, as they're out driving to their meeting,
very gumshoe type stuff here.
For sure. That hard-boiled detective kind of.
Yeah.
They're driving to their meeting, and Christopher notices somebody telling them in the window, and he goes, somebody's following us. And Ice goes, oh, do you know who? And he goes, well, it's a car made of green energy, so I think we can rule out Batman. As the car pulls up next to him. And that's where he's like looking, and she's just like, Jesus Christ, Guy, like, come on. Just like she was in the comics, and very much like, this is the comics of the older stories.
He just does not. Yeah. He just does not get it.
Yeah, this is a whole full open spread thing of him pulling up there. And he's like, hey, Chance, I thought we had a talk. I thought you were going to try to listen. This doesn't look like you listening. It looks like you still hanging out with my girl, like that kind of stuff. And Chris gives this whole great dialogue about how important it is, like when people wear masks. He goes, I've been at this a long time, and here's the truth of it all. Like, falling for a disguise isn't about seeing a mask. It's about not what's seen behind it.
It's true.
Like, it's all about falling for the lie. For example, you're sitting at a red light, and he's like, maybe you're looking at the car next to you. Maybe that car starts to pull out, and you assume that you know what they're doing, and you don't even see the light anymore. As he creeps out on a red light to get Guy to go, and boom, smacked by a truck. And he goes, that ring will make sure the truck driver's all right. And then Ice looks back and goes, you sure you know what you're doing? And he goes, I don't know what you mean. I'm just driving is all, is what he tells her. But he goes, it'll probably save Guy too. But it has to live with that jackass day in and day out. So you never know.
God, what a jerk.
Where are they going? They're going to a business opening for Booster's Bagels, because Booster Gold is opening a bagel shop, Mike.
Look at these people wearing the shirts, though, just like in Mr. Miracle.
Mr. Miracle. Yep.
Yeah.
I love he's making this whole grand thing, and you know how much I love Booster and Skeets. But
Yeah.
he's like, welcome to the grand opening of Booster's Bagels. Remember, like Booster says, if evil's near, never fear, just get a schmear.
Oh, my Lord.
And he goes, wow, this is great. What a crowd. Thank you all for coming out here. And Skeets just sighs at him. And it cuts back to like Chris and Ice. And she's like, well, I think we've got this case solved. He had to kill
half
Luthor.
Of the crowd.
Yeah, he's like, he had to kill Luthor. Couldn't take the competition from Lex's locks. I love this part where he's like, and now for the Booster goes, and now for the ceremonial ribbon cutting. And Skeets tells him, use scissors. And he's like, I don't need to use scissors, Skeets. I've got a laser. And Skeets goes, you're going to break something. I am not going to break something, is Booster's response. And they're fighting like a married couple because Skeets goes, yes, you are. And then all of a sudden you see him shoot the laser at the ribbon and it breaks the ribbon. And then, there's a crash of the glass right behind it. And then Booster shrugs and looks at Skeets and goes, man, same thing would have happened if I used scissors. And Skeets just sighs and goes, sad but true. So the kind of, we know what Booster is.
Skeets is his kind of
assistant.
Sidekick. Okay. I thought it was like his Herbie or whatever.
It is a supercomputer. Yeah.
Okay.
It gives him it has all the knowledge of everything that it can cut back to him. It came back to our time from the future with him.
Right. Okay. Yeah. All right.
So while they're sitting there, he goes, you like them? Every bagel is toasted in house. No pre-toasting at Booster's Bagels. And it's not
toasting.
Yeah. And he goes, and it's not a thing at Booster's Bagels, that's for sure. And Skeets goes, Booster, again, that's not a selling point. Pre-toasting isn't a thing. So, but she asks him, like they talk, and he's just like, hey, so he looks at Christopher Chance and he goes, you said you guys had a big old murder mystery and you decided to bring in the man in gold. Smart move. Let me ask you this. If you're Christopher Chance right now, the human target, master of disguise, right? And Chris goes, right. And Booster goes, right. Well, if you're the master of disguise, ... how do I know you're Christopher Chance?
I mean, he's got a point.
And he goes, boom. You know? And Skeets just goes, the man of gold? ?
Yeah, he's got a point.
He does have a point. Well, I mean, he goes, Booster, did you try to, Chris doesn't even humor him. He's like, did you try to poison Lex Luthor 3 days ago? And he's like, Lex Luthor, no, I did not. He goes, now, I can't really call where I was 3 days ago. And Skeets goes, we were in 19th century England trying to get Kurtz to help you write Keats, I'm sorry. Yeah. Keats to help you write the bagel menu. And he goes, yeah, no, that possibly rings a bell. Egg sandwich, would I were breakfast as thou art, is what Skeets says underneath it. And he's like, Chris goes, you've been traveling a lot lately? And then we get a montage of where Booster's like, I don't know about a lot, lately, just a little bit here and there. A little, I guess. We got our sesame seeds from ancient Babylon. Poppy seeds, obviously, from even ancient Sumer. It's Sumer. Sumer.
Yeah, Sumer. I guess it's like Sumatra.
Yeah, and then onions from even more ancient China. The usual stuff. And Booster goes, this bagel business, man, it's quite cutthroat. You gotta take the edge where you can. And Skeets goes, it's highly likely that we broke time. Skeets already knows.
Yeah.
And that's where he goes, well, what about the water? Where's that from? And he's like, that's the key to the whole thing. Trade secret, and I'm not going to give it away. Only people who know are me, Skeets, and my silent partner. Next question, human target, if that even is your real name. And Skeets looks at Booster and goes, his real name is Christopher Chance. This is something you already know. They talk, though. He says that the conversation drifts to the old days between him and Ice afterwards, and that's where he brings up again. He notices, they had 1,000 in-jokes running back and forth, they talk their own languages. There have been a lot of Justice League teams all these years. Every combination of superhero confronting every combination of supervillain. But not a lot of them could sit down together and laugh for an afternoon. He's like, this group was tight. These were more than colleagues. This was a family. And so as they're going to leave, and she goes, well, you're right about the water. And he coughs again, and he goes, yeah. And so Ice goes, so he had access. Booster's a goof, though. He didn't kill anyone. And Chris is like, well, someone poisoned that coffee, though. Someone who knew Luthor scans his food and drinks for everything. Someone that knew that like an out-of-date hydrogen and oxygen mixture that was in the water used to make this cocktail like wouldn't be picked up on the scans. And she's like, you think Booster knows how to do that? Did you taste that bagel? I think he might have pre-toasted it. And he goes, you heard him. No one knows that secret except for him, Skeets, and his silent partner. And that's where Ice goes. And Booster's best friend happens to be a billionaire scientist who also happens to be one of our suspects. You know, for someone pretty clever, you drink too much. I guess I'm... And then says, driving. As Guy's back, and he has completely dismantled Chris's car. And that's where she's like, what the hell is wrong with you, Guy? And then Chris just pipes up, maybe he doesn't drink enough. She gets angry. She gets very angry. He broke my car. I broke his. Seems fair is what Guy says. But we do get this like narration from Chris where he goes, I don't know everything, but I know a little bit about Lanterns. Jon Stewart, who we're going to get in the Lanterns TV show, and I used to swap war stories over whiskey shots. He was a Marine, and I was what I was, and we'd vacation in some of the same war zones in our misspent youth. Things about Lanterns, why I wasn't worried about the car, is that their ring does a lot of work for them. It's the most powerful weapon in the universe. Without you even thinking, it'll protect you from anything. And then he's watching her get so angry as she is like this icy blast that she is attacking.
Things are getting very cold, yeah.
And it is cracking his ring, protecting him there. And he goes, wow. The strength it would take to overcome that defense is almost inconceivable. He goes, and she goes, you want to get some dinner? Was what she asked afterwards. He goes, I know what she'd say, that it was just a bluff to scare him. She wasn't going to hurt him. She's just what everyone says she is, sweet and kind. In the end, Ice is nice. That's the lie she'd tell, is what he says, as she's asking about about dinner. And he goes, sure, what do you feel like? And she goes, anything but a bagel. They pull up to her house again. She goes, well, this is it. Thank you for dinner. It was very lovely. I'll call Ted tonight, our Blue Beetle, and set up our meeting. Does tomorrow work? And he's like, she's immeasurably powerful. She's got a temper, and she might have already killed you. And then he's like, I'm free. Like, I talking about tomorrow. He's like, don't get out of the car. Is what, like, we get him talking and we get his inner monologue. Yeah. Don't get out of the car. And she goes, you could come inside while I call. We could see how he answers together, go over the next steps and all of that. And you're going to stay in the effing car. And he's like, no, I told Luigi I'd do something for him. Wish I could. And that's where we're like, good. Well done. Go home. And she goes, I understand. Good night. And then we see Chris say, but let me walk you to the door. And there's a, like underneath there of him breaking his own rule. And he does walk her up there. And she tells him, is it okay to say I told you so? And he's like, about what? She's like, fire is many things, but she's not Booster's silent partner. And he's like, I don't know. People can surprise you. And she looks at him and asks, do I surprise you, Christopher? He answers, no. She goes, oh, and why is that? And he replies, well, I had high expectations and you met them. And she goes, oh, well, too bad you can't come inside then. I bet there are a few other expectations I could meet. And then she just kind of closes the door right in his face as he does that whole rub the back of the neck. Back at the hotel, a few hours later, a few drinks in, 9 days left. And he's like, and I'm spending one of these here. I'm a fool. Speaking of which, and that's where Guy just rips the door off the hinges. He's like, Chase, you're through. And he's like, it's late, Guy. Go find somewhere else to sleep. Well, he uses a chain and wraps it around him and throws it out, throws Chris out of the hotel room. Yeah. And he's like, she's not with you anymore. My little girl can't fight for you. You can't trick her anymore. She can't trick you. It's just you and me. Well, you me and him is what Chris says. And he goes back, he goes, Stewart used to tell me about Guy sometimes, as in John Stewart, when he was talking about the two of them used to talk about the trouble that Guy Gardner would get into. As you see, what the name and O is going on here, and that's Hal Jordan. And he goes, the first Green Lantern. He goes, Hal, you don't understand. He's like, with my girl. And that's where he's like, Hal, the only Lantern he feared, his only real fear really, was Hal. How Hal used that fear to keep Guy out of more trouble with the threat of what could happen. And Hal tells him, he's like, you've been doing this all day. Like, Chance reached out to me. We've talked about this, especially with Ice before, Guy. You know the consequences. And Guy's like, come on, Hal. Like, no. And he's like, your ring. You either give it up for a while or I take it forever. And he just kind of like gulps. And he's like, God damn it. And he like takes off the ring and he tosses it to Hal. And he goes,
so they have to keep him like in check all the time?
Yeah, that Hal has to keep Guy in check.
Huh. Okay.
Well, and so he's like, if you could just give me a second to explain things, that he's the one that's making this problem. And you see Chris go, hey, Guy. And he turns around and he just punches him from earlier. And he says, shut the F up. And he goes, what did we talk about earlier? Like I said, falling for a disguise isn't about seeing the mask. It's about not seeing the face behind the mask. It's about falling for the lie. And that's where it takes off. And it's Luigi, who is wearing a mask underneath there with his little like voice thing. And he goes, can I keep the ring? And he's like, no, Booster. He had taken Booster's Legion of Superhero ring, that made him fly, to give to Luigi. So Luigi could appear like he was flying in, like Hal would be able to.
Yeah. Yeah.
So he's like, nah, Booster will notice his ring's missing at some point. Plus, like, I need to get it back to him before he decides to try to fly. Like, he's just thinking, like, he'd try to fly and not be able to.
Yeah.
And Luigi goes, no, not the Legion ring, this green one. What do you want me to do with this? And he looks back at Luigi and goes, Luigi, my friend, as he coughs, do you really think I care? And that's where we end issue 3 of our first Human Target.
This is a super interesting, different story. This is really cool.
Yeah, they ended the back of each one with like calendar, like of the pinups and the days marked off. I have the first 2 issues actually here. I've hung them up behind me before on our show. But yeah. No, it's a great story. So there you go. That is part 1. We will do part 2 of volume 1.
Now I'm just like I don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah. All right, but you're here.
It's a good thing. Yeah,
okay.
It's a good thing. Yeah.
Okay. Well, we will have issues. We'll have issues 4 through 6 later this week to dive into.
4 through 6.
If Mike likes it after that, then we'll pick it up and we'll wrap it up before the end of the year. But there you go. Thank you guys for taking the time out to listen, to watch, to comment, everything. I can't thank you guys enough through Thanksgiving and being thankful for things. I am so thankful for each and every one of you.
No kidding.
Have some people that I need to reach out to. I've just been so busy. I haven't forgotten. We absolutely are. But I can't thank you guys enough for it all. Like, I really appreciate it. Thank you.
I can attest to the fact that he's been busy.
Thank you. Mike's been very busy too. We've both been. But make sure to check out Rogue Media Network and all of the other great podcasts on the Rogue Media family of podcasts.
RogueMediaNetwork.com.
And until next time, stay safe, everybody.
Golly to the con.
Pros and heroes. Gonna tell you about pros and heroes. Gonna tell you about.
This has been a Rogue Media Network production.